People, one of the sad things that happened when they broke into my place and stole my gear a few months ago is that when they took some of the backpacks that I had, they also took my one of my Ontario pilot's knife, the survival pilot's knife. Now that pilot's knife had been given to me by a good friend from Bushcraft USA, and actually my intention was to keep that knife original, to keep its original profile as an item of my collection. I didn't want to modify it as I did to my original pilot's knife. I removed the upper hand guard, I changed the profile on the edge, I put the convex edge there, and I kind of liked it. But when they took my backpack, my knife was inside another leather sheath that I had made for it, in another place where the guys, the criminals didn't see it, so they missed it. Thank God. But anyway, they took the backpack where my original sheath was stored, and I was left only with the knife itself, which had been quite modified, and I happen to have it here today with me on the strip. So this is my original pilot's knife, as you can see here. No upper hand guard, which improves a lot the performance of this knife, and I changed the profile on the edge. Like I said, I put the convex edge here, and I'm gonna show you now the new sheath that I've made for this knife here, because like I said, I didn't like to look at the knife in the other sheath. It was kind of weird because I knew it didn't belong to that sheath originally, so I wanted to have a new sheath that resembled the original sheath's profile better. So I'll show you what I made here. Well, as you guys can see, it resembles a lot my previous sheath, the original sheath. And as you can probably notice there, I already put a survival sheath, a survival kit on the sheath, or some kind of a partial survival kit, because it will help me only partially with the survival tasks, let's put it this way. But anyway, I'll show what it is and you have a better idea of what I'm talking about. Okay guys, so here it is. This is the sheath that I have made for my Ontario pilot's knife. It is a sheath that, like I said before, resembles the original sheath. In my opinion, it actually presents a few advantages, which I'll talk about right now. Well, the first thing is I wanted to make the sheath actually thicker than the original one, because I didn't want this part to fold on the handle like it happens with the original one. Actually, I have some folding here, but not as bad as it happened with my original one. So this is the first thing that I wanted, the first different thing that I wanted to have, like a thicker sheath, okay? Another thing that I did here, that I made here, is I used this outer pouch, which is actually a pocket knife, a leather pouch. And what I did is I simply removed the back loop and the metal rivets that kept it attached to the pouch itself, and I glued the pouch on the sheath. I used, a thick layer of leather glue on the two surfaces that I was uniting, that I was gluing together. And I can tell you that this thing here is very well glued to this sheath. It ain't going nowhere. And I wanted to have a bigger outer pouch, because the pouch that comes on the original sheath is kind of small. It holds a little sharpening stone, and you can replace the sharpening stone by a magnesium bar, which is actually what I did, but you cannot put much else inside it. So by putting a bigger outer pouch on my sheath, what I did is I improved its storage capacity. And now what I carry inside here, as you can probably see there, is a magnesium block, okay, with a little ferro rod on the corner, two tampons for artificial tender, and this little case here, this little container, which holds Vaseline. And I can use the Vaseline to treat the artificial tender, the tampons, okay, or treat my blade okay, because it is carbon steel and it tends to rust. So by treating it with Vaseline, I can prevent it from getting rusted. So that's it, people. And you can see that I put the metal rivet up here. I had it put, actually, for me. I took it to a place where they actually do this kind of stuff. And you can see that this is not very nice looking in terms of its aesthetics, profile, if I can put it this way. I'm not much of a good, leather artist. By no means I'm saying that I am as talented as my good friend Joe Garza from Texas. Hey Joe, how are you doing, bro? This is the only thing I came up with, brother. And I know that you can actually make many more beautiful leather works than the stuff that I can do. But this is functional enough, and this is good enough for me. Yes, and like I said, people, it resembles the original sheath of my knife, which is actually what I wanted when I decided to make this new sheath. So here it is. I also used these Ranger bands, which are nothing but inner tube, you know, pieces, parts that have been cut, and I put it around the sheath to store this other case where I keep a file, a triangular file, that is good enough to keep a decent workable working edge, working edge on my blade. It's not going to be as good as the edge that I can get, in my place, but it will be good enough to keep my blade performing. It's what it's supposed to do, well enough. So that's it, people. I hope you like my new sheath for my Ontario knife. And I know it's not very beautiful, so you don't have to worry about that. I wasn't really concerned about making something really nice looking, but rather functional. And I think I got the functionality that I need right there. Anyway, I made it myself, and I am proud, that I made it. So that's it. I hope you liked it too. And that's it, people. I'll see you in the bonus.